everybody in podcast land. Welcome to the podcast.
Howdy, howdy.
Hope everybody's having an awesome day. My name is Connor Driscoll.
My name is Adam Teeney.
I'm Andrew Anderson.
It's good to have everybody here. There's a lot of podcasts out there, and it means a lot that you guys would jump on in and give ours a listen. So, quick introduction. How we know each other. So, Andrew and Adam and me have basically, grown up our whole lives together. Me and Andrew have been buddies since like day one. I'm a couple years older than him, so yeah, we've known each other our whole lives. And then Adam lived in a town a little bit further from us, so we didn't really start knowing Adam until a few years ago, And he's been coming to church for a while, and
we mostly went to church together our whole lives, pretty much.
For sure.
So that's that.
So now we're all working at the same company together, so unfortunately we got to see each other every day at work.
Yeah.
So
that's how fate goes.
Anything you like to add real quick, Drew?
Work is grand.
Work is grand. So, to start this podcast out, we're going to say a quick prayer, and then we'd like to tell you guys a kind of a story little adventure we went out on. So, I just want to say a quick prayer to get this thing going. Lord, we love you, God. I thank you for this opportunity to do this podcast. Thank you for the opportunities we've had to enjoy your creation throughout the years. And, Lord, thank you for these good friends that you blessed my life with. God, I pray that you would bless our time together, Lord, and help us to be a witness and encourage somebody here tonight, Lord. And wherever they're listening, God, help. Lord, whoever is listening to this podcast, help them with whatever they're going through. We give you all the praise and honor and glory for it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Well, not really shooting to go big time on this thing. We're just kind of, Connor had the idea of getting this thing together, but I'm sure there'll only be 2 or 3 listeners out there for the first podcast, probably.
For sure.
And probably all people we know, but cut us some slack. It's our first one. We'll probably take us a little bit to get loosened up, but mostly this is going to be for us to hang out and kind of tell our stories, because you get to telling stories, and we've got
some really good ones. So
many hunting stories that, I don't know, we got some good ones to tell, at least for us to get a kick out of anyway. Nothing, we're still learning as hunters, growing as hunters, I guess. So California hunting, you got some struggles, let's just say that. So we're not always 100% successful, but we go out there and have a good time, and that's all that matters anyway. So more messing around than anything out in the woods, and we got some cool, fun stories. So something we don't want to forget, so we might as well put it on some recording, and hopefully if we got some, you guys can get a kick out of too. So I guess anything else you got to say, Drew, for introductions? Or and Connor have kind of given introductions here.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Some of the greatest memories I have, of my entire life, is some of these hunting trips and these funny stories. So I'm really excited to share them with other people, and honestly just to relive them with you guys again. Get to talk about that.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely. Let's jump in. So, backstory here. It's archery season in California. Was it August?
Yeah, It was August. We kind of started planning on it a little before that, researching it a little bit. I think I was kind of just browsing Onyx, looking for new places, because I don't know, I've still got the feeling that there's more out there, that I feel like if you grind hard enough and get into some backcountry where all your road hunters aren't at, I feel like there's deer to be found even in this tough California hunting. And so, long story short, I was browsing the Onyx.
Did some guys from church tell you about this spot?
No, so that's kind of what's funny.
Okay.
Yeah, I just kind of stumbled on it. I was scrolling, and the reason that it brought me there is my Onyx wasn't showing any roads near this thing. And so we're talking about
complete unknown territory.
This isn't one of our greatest hunting spots around here, so we don't mind name dropping here. But we're going to Star Lakes. That's I guess the topic of this podcast.
Don't waste your time.
Literally, we're
Legit.
not about afraid of busting some secrets here. So I scrolled over Star Lakes, and for some reason I hadn't heard about it. Come to find out, a lot of people from our church had been there. Some of the older guys and middle-aged guys have been there and trout fish and stuff. But I stumbled onto it, and my Onyx wasn't showing me like any roads near this thing. Like there was one that was you could get to a trailhead that was about a couple miles from the lake is what my phone was showing me. I know we went through a burn time. There was a bunch of down trees, and there was a time where you couldn't get in there except by hiking. But yeah, you guys can go ahead and take off on this, I guess.
So it's August. California in August, where we are, is hot. Super hot. And, there was a fire going on, like, what was it, like a mountain over or a little bit away? Or it just happened. So it's pretty smoky up there. But we headed out, was it after work, I think?
Yeah, I was on like a Friday.
I think it was a Friday after work.
I don't think I was working at the company yet.
No, I don't think so. So we all pile into Adam's truck. We got our bows, a couple handguns, just in case you come across a bear or whatever. And we get up there like at dusk. It's probably like, 7:30 or so?
Oh, yeah. Man, yeah.
So we
was just about to go down.
We get our packs set up because we're going to camp, up on the mountain for the weekend. So we're getting our backpacks all, geared up. Well, we get ready to head out, and we're following Adam's Onyx. Well, we start headed down from the road. We're headed down. Adam's like going around following his Onyx, and we're just like a bunch of lost city boys. And he's like, "Oh no, the trail's over here." Yeah. So he's on his Onyx.
Go left now.
We're depending on his Onyx that there's supposed to be a trail going through this, going up to the Star Lakes. And all of a sudden he's like, "No, boys, it's this way." So we literally had to go like 180 degrees. We start heading up the mountain. And you guys take over from there.
So yeah, I'd kind of go ahead, Drew. You go for it. I've already told my part about it.
Yeah, we kept going left, right, and we're just following Adam, holding the phone out in front of his face, and he's in the dark, and he's like, yeah, we're on it. And then we'll start walking for about like 10 minutes, and he's like, wait, it's like 20 yards that way.
So annoying.
Dude, and then we ended up like going up this real steep, slippery part.
So yeah, we got there. It was like, sun had just set, and we're starting off on Onyx. I'm new to Onyx. I've only had this thing for like not very long, and I'm like, oh sweet, I got this cool new navigation app here, and so I'm trying to follow this thing. Never been in the area and hadn't talked to anybody that'd been in the area, so I'm just kind of completely running off this thing. And if you've ever followed Onyx, it's a general guide. It's not like
absolutely
live.
It's not. Yeah, you're not following an actual trail. Little did I know. Once you learn how to use it, you can kind of work it, and you just work the lay of the land and kind of use it as a general guide rather than actually following step by step a trail. So we take off. What did I tell you guys? It was like a mile.
Something.
Up there.
It wasn't that far.
A lot at all.
It was like, I'm like, okay guys, it's like a mile here. Well, we're at like the base of this.
Oh brother.
We're at like the base of
it's
like
dark
this
now.
Highest mountain. Yeah,
it's pitch black
on the in this area here. And so we start off on this trek, and it's like we went the wrong direction, like they said at first. So now it's full on dark, and we're trekking up this hill. And I'm kind of staying in front because I got the Onyx here, and we're weaving back and forth across this mountain, and it starts getting steeper and rockier and brushier, and we're going, and oh my goodness, it felt like we were just walking forever. And yeah, it was like steep and nasty.
Super steep.
And okay, we weren't very prepared.
No,
mentally or physically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not physically prepared for that.
So, we're just some young kids, not that we're much older now, but some young kids goofing off. And my pack, I bet you was 30, probably 35 to 40 pounds for like a 2-day trip.
Ridiculous.
I mean, I had it loaded down with like a sleeping bag and our tent,
spotting scope,
water, spotting scope,
everything.
We took enough water to hopefully get to the top, and then some filtration systems.
Yeah, we were supposed to camp by the lake.
Yeah, we're like, oh yeah, we'll just camp by the lake,
That's right.
Because we were looking on Google, and Google's very deceiving. And
Never believe the internet.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it's supposed to be true always. But
anyway,
yeah, right.
Doesn't
we're
work
checking
out.
up this thing about halfway through. I didn't know it was this steep, and yeah, I mean, we're worn out. We already drank a bunch of our water.
Dude,
on
I was
the first
dying.
night.
there's like no rations or whatever you call it. We're just
No.
full send.
So our plan was to stay Friday night, hunt Saturday morning, chill Saturday afternoon, hunt Saturday evening, hunt Sunday morning, and come out Sunday afternoon was kind of the plan. Get a quick morning hunt on Sunday. So we ended up finally reaching the top. Connor and Drew were kind of getting
Hey,
I was
a little upset at
at
me.
one point,
Whoops.
Drew, I look back and Drew's using his bow as a walking stick. He got to the point where he didn't even care. He was just like,
no.
Yeah.
When I say the words, I was not physically prepared. I was not
dude,
at all.
I remember I was so turned around or whatever. At one point, there's headlights. Remember I did that? There's headlights from the city, like way down the mountain. I'm like, dude, those are headlamps.
I know.
Somebody's coming after us.
It was like lights at the city.
Oh my goodness.
So Talon was supposed to go on with us on this trip. Talon's our other buddy, longtime buddy. So he'll be on
He'll be on.
within a couple podcasts, I'm sure. Next one, I don't know, whatever. But he was supposed to go with us. That's a totally different story he'll have to tell. But he got on a once in a lifetime bachelor group of bucks here in California, and
That's right.
and so he kind of had no other choice but to chase those while we went on our little excursion here. So he wasn't with us. Anyway, I'll try and get a couple videos here you guys can take off. But they were getting pretty frustrated at me because I'm trying to follow this
He's
thing.
like our fearless leader that's leading us through the brush, up a steep mountain,
was
not
more-
much of a trail.
I was more frustrated at the fact that I was lagging behind and I was like huffing and puffing. I was like, man, stupid.
What kind of boots did you have to hike in? Weren't they junk?
Yeah, they were like super tall,
Like work boots or something?
something like that. Yeah, and like
Yeah.
they were just rubbing on my legs too on the super steep rocky climb.
It
and
was
I was
all
just like,
bad.
I was a big baby back then.
I don't know what this video is, but we'll
Back
just,
then.
this was 9:11 p.m., so this is already a good bit into the hike.
What are we, like
here.
an hour into it probably? Or
Probably.
more? Somewhere in there?
We'll see what we say here.
How do you think Talon and Adam got like this? They struggled until they became stronger. He struggles to get
That was a stupid Vine quote. Okay. Let's see what this one is.
That's a walking stick. When you're desperate, it works.
Drew's using his walking bow for a walking stick
It's good
here.
for you.
And I was so tired, I didn't even care.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock at night. I know we've been hiking for sure an hour and a half. What do you think, more guys? 5 days. How far? We've been hiking a long time. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but we're all pretty whooped. That first trek up the hill, it was just like so stinking steep. It was ridiculous. But once we got on top and hit another road, it's kind of flattened out a little bit. And we're not too far from where we want to camp. Just a few hundred yards. So, what do you guys have to say? Can't wait to get to camp. God is good, boys. Just had a bug on my shirt.
Well, we get up towards the top and walk right onto a road.
That was our breaking point.
Right
kinda.
onto the road. We were so frustrated at Adam. We just hiked
There
our
was a road
behinds
up here.
off. We were so mad. And we walked right onto a dirt road. We're just like, are you kidding me? We walked all this way and there's a road.
Did we come up on a Jeep or was that the next day?
That was the next morning, I think.
We thought we were in like the middle of like the wilderness.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
We're like, oh yeah, we're so far back in here. Come to find out, yeah, we hit that road on top, and they're just, those guys are like looking at me like, what? We've just hiked for over 2 hours up this straight up mountain here, and we come up onto a road. And so what turns out, my Onyx wasn't showing me an actual road going to the lake. Like, the road didn't even show up. I was so mad at that thing. If we would have went like 2 miles up the road that we parked on, there was a trailhead that broke off to the left, 4-wheel drive road, and we could have. That's what made the whole trip so stupid.
Well, it's hard to be the leader because if anything goes wrong, you're getting the blame for it.
yeah.
So,
This guy's a guide?
Yeah.
What the world?
so what we got on that road, and then it was a pretty easy hike after that.
Yeah.
Made it up to a good spot to camp. Got the tent all set up, and it's like I don't know, it wasn't that huge of a tent, but
No, it was like a little. It says a 3-man, but it was like a cheaper, like Ozark Trail tent, and
It's cozy.
I mean, like,
say the least.
you can sleep
Okay.
2 guys pretty decent. 3 guys, you really shouldn't try and sleep 3 guys in there,
goodness.
but especially 3 full-grown dudes. But yeah, it was a little rough, the sleeping arrangements. I didn't bring a pillow, so I like stuffed stuff in my sleeping bag cover and did like a makeshift deal.
Well, don't help. You're going to bed and you're just sweaty,
Oh, it was rough.
Oh, dude.
stink,
Whooped.
crusty.
We had a nice thing of top ramen, though, when we got up there. That made it all better.
Definitely.
So the food we packed wasn't the greatest either.
Oh,
Did
my
we bring like
goodness.
2 mountain
It
houses?
was horrible options.
For like all of our,
Horrible.
we had like Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday lunch, Saturday dinner, and Sunday morning breakfast. For all of those, we probably had like 1 mountain house, but for each of us, like
I barely had anything.
we didn't really eat a lot of mountain house. We brought some top ramen,
Yeah, well.
some.
Do you have Spam or something?
I did
Yeah.
have spam, yeah. Yeah, the spam.
Ugh.
We had
Cat food.
we loaded up on candy, right? We got the sugars
Oh,
going
dude, the Mountain
because we're just
Dew.
gonna be burning this energy. We got tell them about Connor's main course for the whole trip.
Honey stinger.
That was a
Was he
horrible
hungry?
decision.
Yeah, so I started ordering these things called honey stingers. It's like a little waffle thing
waffle kind of.
with caramel in between. They're actually a pretty good little snack. Well, Connor tanked up on those things,
That was the next day, I think.
I think
but you
were
brought a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah. They were at Sportsman's Warehouse, I think.
Yeah.
I think I just loaded up on
You were
them.
all like new and hyped about it. You guys, oh my word, you guys have to try these new things. They're awesome. They're the best things. I got one for you. I got one for you.
You get a honey stinger? You
Yeah.
get a honey stinger?
Everyone gets a honey stinger.
So yeah, we're still on the first night, kind of getting a little ahead of ourselves. But we went to sleep. Was that the first night that we had really bad sleep, or was that
Probably both.
Saturday? I think it was both.
Yeah, it was both.
I think the first night was the worst though, because we were tired. The second night we were drained, so we just slept it off pretty good. But the first night, I remember we were all crunched in there. I can remember it plain as day, and we're sleeping. And what did we get up there at 10:30?
I don't know.
And we finally got in bed at like 10:30 or 11.
I think a little bit later than that even.
And so I'm like, I go to sleep, and I'm tossing and turning what feels like forever, dude. And I can hear these guys kind of snoring, and then they'll toss and turn. Nobody was really sleeping that good.
No.
All of a sudden, I look, and I think it's starting to get daylight, it almost looks like. I was just seeing stars or moon or something, but I like turn over and grab my phone, and it was such a shock to see it. I literally yelled, I'm like, 12 o'clock! And those guys are like, what? I thought it was the alarm was going to go off. And we all thought it was like about time to wake up, and we literally still had, I don't know, 5 more hours.
Apparently it was like torture.
It was torture trying to
was
sleep.
bad.
We were so glad to see morning. So
Then the daylight, so the sunrise comes up, and we hadn't seen, I don't think we'd been there at that point to Star Lakes.
no, that was first time
So
ever.
like the sun comes up, and it's really hazy because there's like a fire or something in the area. So, but just to get up, and the lake is like down in this bowl. So where we camped is like, up on the cliff, and you look down, it's just like the Star Lakes, and it's just rocks all around it. Like, so to camp
Oh yeah.
by Star Lakes is like pretty much impossible. But to see that view that next morning was amazing.
It was worth it.
Definitely.
Like to me, I went to sleep. Oh, this is stupid. And I woke up, and like it was just a beautiful view.
Yeah.
breathtaking.
Yeah, it kind of made it worth it there for about 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No, it was pretty cool. First time any of us have ever been there. If you guys haven't been there and you're in the area, it's a pretty cool place to visit. They've got a nice 4-wheel drive road there. You can't take just anything up there.
No.
It's kind of like a Jeep trail type deal. Just pretty cool to look. It's a walk. It's not for the average person even to get down in.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it don't look too bad, but it's so rocky, and it's honestly pretty killer.
Definitely.
Especially midsummer. Woo.
And it was like my first real hike.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Like real hike.
It was cool for us, young guys getting out there, getting our hunting career started, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You go through all the rough stuff, and eventually it's going to get better. We haven't had we've had some pretty good hunts, but you got to go through those lessons, those life lessons, what to bring and what not to bring, and how to get there and the route and all that stuff. You live and learn for sure.
Pack more water, bar none.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't trade that experience for anything. But so yeah, we're start out the day. Would we start up at the top glassing for deer?
Yeah, we started off kind of on the rim there before we walked actually out down the edge. I mean, all in all, guys, this we'll go into that later. But yeah, I was gonna go somewhere else with that. But
we started hiking and seen that Jeep. Remember?
Yeah,
it wasn't even a Jeep. It was like some city slicker car,
HJ or some, or what do they call it?
Like a Suzuki or something.
I don't remember.
It was like some Japanese
Yeah, we're walking and there's literally this Jeep looking. It's not really a 4-wheel drive rig, but it's not just a street car. I mean, they're decent to get in there, but
it's a Prius.
Oh yeah,
yeah, right.
Those guys were hating me. I was hating myself. I'm like, oh man,
there's a road up here.
My truck's down at the bottom of the hill, and now we're up here with just packs. Literally walked all the way up there. Hey, I seen guys do it last year though. Same thing we did, so it made me feel a little bit better.
So we're not the only ones.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, we started off in the morning there glassing. That's so high a country and it's rocky. The side we were on was just like solid rock. Not what it looks like from Google Earth. So we're hiking around there, and we ended up hiking out that point right
like
for the
ridge.
Morning. Yeah.
Did we hiked down to the lake mid morning or something?
Yeah.
We
First we had
yeah.
kind of hiked off on the left side of the lake, that ridge there. Got all the way out on the end and glassed all that forever. Andrew thought he saw a deer or something, I think.
No, I seen a bear.
Was that?
No, we seen a bear, but you spotted something earlier in the morning. You're like, I thought I saw a deer go behind that tree. We watched it forever and then
I think I remember that.
never seen anything. And all of a sudden we turned up a bear. That was pretty cool.
That was
It was a
awesome.
big old brown bear too.
It was about 600 yards away, I think, is what my rangefinder was saying. So we could have probably got closer and put a play with a rifle maybe. But with bows, I mean, we watched him. He was moving so fast.
Yeah.
It was like, what was it, 9 or 10 in the morning maybe?
Probably something like that.
Yeah, so it was mid-morning. It was already starting to get hot. He had been out feeding, and you could tell he was like on a mission. He wasn't just running. He was still kind of feeding, but he was doing like a quick feed back to wherever he was going to spend the afternoon. So there was no point in really just running and gunning for that one. He was
And it
on
was
his
hot.
way out. It was hot. Yeah.
And we were like on that ridge, and we were sitting there for about like an hour and a half, and then all of a sudden someone was like, "We really need to get the hot chocolate out."
Yes.
We drank the hot chocolate, and then who was it first? They're like, "I want to take a nap." Who was that?
I don't know. It's
remember.
probably me. I don't know.
It wasn't me. I remember, and I was just like, "Seriously, we're on this epic hunt. And you want to take a nap?" And so like, we ended up taking like a nap, and we were on that ridge for like 3 hours, right?
Yeah, we glassed forever and didn't see nothing. The hot chocolate was cool. We
It was.
got to sit up there, just chill, look at the lake, drink some hot chocolate. And the bear was actually pretty decent, though. Yeah, I could show it on the camera, but I don't know how good it'd come out. I got a little bit of phone scope footage of it. I'd say it was Probably 250.
Yeah, it was decent.
I'd say it was over 200 pounds, I bet. It was a good bear. I'm not good at judging a bear, but from what I've seen, I'd say it was probably in that area. So that was cool to see. At least we had, saw some action, some
Kind of
game.
hyped us up.
Yeah, we were all pumped. Still no deer, though. And then, so we kind of hung out there for the morning. After that, we just it was midday. The hunt was kind of over for the morning.
Hot, man.
It was hotter than a firecracker.
I think that's when we started to move down to, maybe they were trying to go get some water from the lake at this point.
Yeah.
I think I started chugging honey stingers
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You had one.
by like 8 o'clock or something ridiculous.
sure.
It was the first spot we stopped and we were glassing, and you were like, oh, these are so good.
So I'm the type of guy that, like, when we're hunting, if it's not anything going on, I'm like, biscuits and gravy, pancakes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is that right? Is
Oh,
that
yeah,
right?
more than one
Cigarettes,
time
man.
that guy's done that to me.
So I think I've ended some hunts or cut some hunts short, being the tempter to my hunting buddies to go get some breakfast early. But anyways, I start chugging these honey stingers like right off the bat, pretty much. Well, little did I know that you can't eat a lot of those in a row. Like, they will mess your stomach up in a bad sort of way.
And all you had was that and then hot chocolate.
That's all I had.
They're
Empty
kind of like
stomach.
quick energy. It's good if you're like hiking or on a deal, but they're not for food. You
Not a
can't just
4-course
eat
meal.
like, I don't know how many you ate, dude, but you ate a bunch of
Chugging
them.
I remember you had a stack like this big, and it was like to that.
So, like,
after the morning.
We start working our way down to the lake, dude. My stomach is just messed up. I'm so sick to my stomach.
Connor starts moaning.
Oh, I'm grinding my
Really?
way down there. It's like you're going from like basically boulder to boulder at some points.
Yeah.
Getting
It was
down there.
crazy cool.
So like we finally get down to the lake, and I guess we can kind of take a little detour here, but you could literally see trout. And we did not bring a fishing pole because we're stupid.
We're idiots, man. My
Totally
dad told me
stupid.
too
Oh yeah.
before we left. He's like, "You're not gonna take a fishing pole?" I'm like, "No, we'll be deer hunting the whole time. We won't have time."
My dad said the same thing.
What a moron. We get down there, the trout are literally surfacing, taking stuff off the top of the water.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like right at my feet.
Didn't you go out there with like a stick?
Yeah.
You whittled a stick. He's like rolls his pants up, look like Huckleberry Finn.
That was a bit later because like we went to the lake and then we're like, okay, we can't just sit around here forever. And so we walked around and went down a little bit. Then we came back, and that was when it was like
okay.
wild mountain man Adam.
Man
And
Adam.
then
Well, I got
Connor.
tired of like our no good food. And we were just like,
we were all.
we were
Adam
eating
had his game
candy.
face on. He's just like, I'm getting a fish.
Like my instincts came in. I'm like, I gotta have some meat. So I'm like, I saw this on Bear Grylls one time. I like split a stick in 4 ways, sharpened the ends, like stuck them in there so it'd come out like 4 prongs.
That's awesome.
Taped it up. I'm like, oh yeah, this worked on Bear Grylls.
Rolled your jeans up like to your mid thigh.
Yeah, I got
in
like
the water.
White boy out in the water.
I got jorts on. It's just Connor's
awesome.
over there like laying on a rock,
Oh,
about to die. Andrew, I think, is trying to get my filter to work
Yeah.
for our water.
I'm like trying to pump a water.
If-
It was like a Three Stooges
If
scene.
there was like a 40-year-old experienced hunter came over the mountain and seen us airheads, I can't imagine what he would have said.
You'd be like, they're gonna die.
You ain't even gonna make it back to the top.
So our plan was to like bring enough water to make it down to the lake or camp by the lake, one or the other. Fill up our water bladders after we had drank it, and use our filters and stuff to get water out of the lake to continue our hunt, and so on. Well, when you're down at the lake, it's not just like go down to the lake real quick. It's like it's a hike, and it's
Oh,
some
man.
pretty rugged stuff.
Especially with the big boulders too. It was kind of a pain. Like
It's
you can't
a lot of work.
It's not a leisure trip.
No.
Yeah, like it's no joke. Actually, Brother Travis had a little experience.
Yeah, Talon's dad.
There, yeah, Talon's dad had a little experience. Fell off a rock there. I mean, it's like it's no joke down there for sure. So we get down there, our water is empty, and we're like, okay, well, sweet, we'll just fill up. Well, it's midday in August. In
Did we
the
tell
high
you it was
Sierras.
hot?
Oh, it was
It
hot.
was hot.
Like I don't even know the temperature.
Wasn't it like mad smoky too?
Yeah, it was smoky. So
And you have like the white shale rock just shining all the sun right in your face.
We're making it sound really good.
Yeah.
That's just the reality, though, dude.
You guys should totally go and visit Starlight.
Yeah, it's worth it.
What time do we start talking about the cheesy breadsticks? Because that was like a major part. In
That's kind
That
of what
was
kept
the
us
beginning of the
going.
day. We were on the end of the ridge, and Connor's just sitting there. We were about to start taking the nap, and he's just like, cheesy breadsticks.
Yeah.
And Adam was like, oh, cheesy breadsticks.
Yeah, it's like Connor said with the biscuits and gravy thing. That's what he's like known for. He just randomly he'll just like shout out a food item that'll just get you going. And so we're like sitting there, it's like quiet, and we're all hungry. All we've had is candy, and he's like, cheesy breadsticks, and then we're all just start moaning. And so there's a pizza factory in Mariposa that we were gonna hit on the way out. So that's like all we were thinking about from the first morning was cheesy breadsticks, and I don't know how many times we said that throughout the trip.
Oh, we were just walking. Remember, guys, cheesy breadsticks.
Dude.
Anyway, we're kind of jumping back and forth around this, but where we're at is we're all down at the lake, just kind of him-hawing around there, and Connor's moaning, I'm trying to catch a fish and with a stick. Andrew is using our water filtration system.
Water.
And all of a sudden, Connor, I remember him saying, he's just like, I think I'm going to try and throw up, guys.
Yeah, I got to that point. I wanted it out of my stomach.
He was just on the, like, laying on a flat rock, and he's like, oh, just tossing and turning.
It was bad.
For like an hour almost.
He's like, I think I'm going to try and throw up, guys. He's like, I think I'll feel much better if I go get it out. And so we like hear him go over there, and he can't really throw up. He's just like,
I think I stuck my fingers in the back of my throat trying to get myself to get
Bent
it up.
over. You didn't even move from your spot. You just got up, went on your knees. You're like,
It wouldn't come up. I couldn't get it out.
I remember you were down there, and you're like, I can't do it, guys.
He comes waddling back.
Oh my goodness. That was a horrible mistake. Horrible.
Bro.
I don't think I've had a honey stinger since then.
No.
I don't think I have.
No,
So
I've
it's
offered
about-
you, and you just no.
It's about midday the first day he starts trashing honey stingers. Goes from like
yeah.
high to low on
These
those
are
things.
the worst things ever.
Honey stingers are stupid.
What's it say? Use with... What do they say? Use responsibly. Eat responsibly, for sure.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Eat in moderation for sure.
Definitely.
So, yeah, that was kind of our midday. We just hung out there, tanked up on water down there, tried to refresh ourselves, and then filled up all our stuff.
Which we didn't even have a whole lot of stuff to fill up.
Yeah, like I had a water bladder
No.
from my pack and like 2 Nalgene bottles or something.
I had like that one camo big old bulky water bottle, and that lasted me like 5 minutes.
Literally, dude. So we start our trek out of there. We finally tank up. What is it, like 12 or 1? It's probably more later than that, 1 or 2
Later
in the
than that,
afternoon.
Probably so.
For sure. And we start our trek out of there. And it's like straight up boulder rocks.
Dude, we're basically dying.
Did I mention it was my first hike?
Yeah, Andrew, he has definitely come a long way for sure. He's been on a lot more hunts.
There's a lot to be said about the mental side of hiking and hunting.
Oh,
Like, when you haven't had that experience of, like, pushing yourself, you know?
I thought I was like relatively like, yeah, I'm manly, I can do it. And then I started the first night. I'm like, I can't do it. I'm a sis.
So, like, our mental strength or whatever was definitely tested, for sure. At least mine was.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm thinking, okay, I've done this way more than these guys. I gotta stay ahead of them. I can't show them that I'm tired and all this stuff. And so they're like,
We're looking to you like, oh, fearless leader.
I feel like a little girl in my mind, about to collapse over here from heat exhaustion.
So we get back to camp, finally make it up there.
Oh, I thought I was gonna just fall over. Going uphill in that last stretch, I was beat.
I think you just laid out when you got there. You just like lays in the dirt, in the shade, under a tree. Like, I think didn't you take your shoes off? Like, straighten your socks.
I think so. Yeah.
Something,
It's
yeah.
like right in the dirt.
I just laid
didn't even
down,
care.
and I think my mouth was like wide open. I was like, I thought I was gonna throw up.
Well,
like
then
just laying there.
we're basically dead, laying there, and then all of a sudden, a guy was that day the guy showed up?
Yeah, that was
Gee.
right then when we just came up from that hike.
Yeah, a random guy like walks to our camp, like, well, it's like midday, so like he didn't, It wasn't like scary or anything like that. But
Yeah, no, they came driving up, I think, actually.
They did.
Yeah.
We were sitting there for
Yeah.
about like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He comes driving up.
One of the first things he says, he's like, there ain't no deer around here.
Yeah. He's like, I've been hunting here my whole life. He's like, this is not the place to do it. And so he ended up, basically just letting us know that this was not where it
the
was
deer
at.
ain't here, the deer over there.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Basically.
Down the mountain a little bit.
Yeah. And so we
Dutch Brothers.
make it known that we get to the top, and out of my water bladder in my backpack and my 2 Nalgene bottles, my 2 bottles are gone. I'm pretty sure those were gone. And I've got like 3/4 of my water bladder in my backpack. I think Andrew may have barely had any water left in his
I think I had
in
like
his
that
bottle,
much.
if he had any.
It was a little slishy sloshy.
Connor didn't have much, so we drank half of our water coming up for sure.
I drank 90% of my water.
Yeah, it was bad, and we've still got literally a half a day and a morning left of hunting. So, and it's midday and hot. So we end up like getting the notion to try a different spot.
Yeah, he convinced us to try a different spot.
Yeah.
Adam and me. Well,
I
for
was-
sure, Adam.
Oh, dude, he convinced Adam, and I'm laying there just like about to vomit.
We come to tell Andrew.
Yeah, Adam's like, I hear Adam talking to the guy, and Adam's like, oh yeah, we'll have to check out that spot. And he's like, yeah, you need to use whatever. And Adam's like, yeah, we'll go right now. He's like, come on, let's pack up. And I'm just laying there like, I hate you, Adam. I hate you
He
so
was
much.
like, I think he was like mad at us.
Yeah, you
Wow.
could tell. He got like
He
quiet.
was frustrated.
I was frustrated that we were like going more. I was like, just give me 30 more minutes to lay here. But
we had to
I
get there
wasn't
for the
mad.
evening hunt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we like
So-
wrap up camp, and it's like another mile or two down, or mile or two over.
I think about
Yeah.
2 miles.
So we wrap it up, and we
It
start heading
wasn't
there.
too bad. It just seemed like it was
Because
a
there was
long
a lot
ways.
more buildup of like dumb stuff, like lack of water, and then like
Your body's not running it what it could be because your
Yeah.
food you've given it is just junk.
inexperience.
Yeah.
And like the
Yeah.
night before, we were whooped, like no doubt. We were
The
sleep.
sleep last the night before.
So we're like going back and forth. Like, is it
Rough.
worth it for us to move and try a different spot? And our only other option is to stay there in the morning. And we were not hiking back down that hill in the morning that we did to the lake. There was no way that was happening. So
Not with the amount of water we had.
yeah, and we wanted to try and maybe make it for evening church service. So we're like, yeah, that's not the play in the morning. So our only other option is to try something else. So we just kind of went exploring a different area, kind of more on the right track. And we get there in the evening, right? It was like late evening. We kind of set up camp. We find this little meadow, much better than the stuff we were hunting before.
Way better.
Like, we were hunting rocks and stuff before. This is more like trees and meadows and more lush
more
kind of.
deery territory.
Yeah, it was very deery looking for sure. I don't think we had seen any, but me and Connor went on a little evening excursion. We didn't go super far.
I think I just set up camp.
Andrew set up camp. We go on our little evening hike there. Me and Connor only walked probably a few hundred yards.
Wasn't that far.
Kind of found this little trail that had been beaten down. Set up there for a minute. We heard a deer blow at us, right?
We seen a doe.
Yeah, we seen a doe. So we're like, hey, we finally seen our first deer on this trip
There's deer in these paws.
since we've been hiking. Yeah.
Are there even any deer here?
Yeah. That'll go into our Arizona story. But so yeah, we kind of tried this new spot.
It gave us hope for the morning.
You guys were amped, and I was still just, oh.
Yeah. Still, overall, there's not a lot of deer in the area. Let's just put it that way. And there, it gets some hunting pressure. Little did we know. So, yeah. Anyway, me and Connor go down there. We see that doe. Gives us some hope for the morning. We come back to camp. It's dark now. I think we hung out, cooked some food.
I made you guys try Spam.
Yeah. What food we had, if you could call it food.
It's
Andrew's
protein, dude. Hey, it was meat.
Andrew cooked
even
like
call it-
spam and
Does that qualify as real food?
something.
It should.
You have a strange palate, my friend.
I'll say.
You're not wrong. I
So-
was like, it's gourmet, you guys. It's Spam steaks.
Gourmet spam steaks.
And then Adam was like, I'll just eat my beef chili mac Mountain House or whatever.
Oh yeah,
And
Oh, my.
that's pretty good actually.
Oh, didn't you do that
not good on the
freeze-dried ice cream sandwich or
Yeah.
brownie?
yeah.
That tasted like a... Was it one of them... what's the part in the Lucky Charm?
Oh,
Oh,
marshmallow.
the
Marshmallow.
part.
Yeah.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
I feel like we were like, that was a good meal that night. I feel like we were pretty satisfied.
Yeah.
Definitely better. But weren't we like barely using any like minimal water to cook our
Oh,
food
yeah.
with?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
we were like scraping by.
Yeah, because we had to have water to cook our food, and we didn't have much.
And water to get down the mountain the next morning.
Yeah, that was
Get
the
through the
story of
morning.
the whole trip.
Like
Yeah.
water was limiting our hunt
Literally.
for sure.
The whole second day.
For sure, because we were sitting in the tent that night deciding what we are going to do.
Yeah.
And you know when you got like a tank of gas and you're like, how far can I make it? And you're like planning this out.
Yep.
We were literally I'm talking sips of water
Little.
left. And we're like, how far should we even consider going down this mountain
Yeah.
into this canyon to hunt when we don't have much water left? Because we're not nowhere near a lake.
No.
It's like a
not
mile
going
down to
back.
that other lake.
Yeah.
And it's just not worth it.
I remember going to bed that second night, super low on water. Like we barely had you had one water bottle or whatever with like that much, and I think that was about it. And like we were like sharing the water bottle, and like I'm laying in bed thirstier than all get out, and I'm like, can I have a drink out of please? You're like just a small one.
We were literally,
horrible.
you're literally
Thirsty,
going to
bro.
bed so thirsty.
It was horrible.
And that's a terrible feeling.
With chili max setting in the stomach.
Oh, chili.
Honey
Mac.
stingers.
And
Bruh.
you're like, your skin just feels so dry and your like body's aching because
Did we tell you it was hot all day?
yeah. If you haven't figured that out yet.
It was hot.
Because we were walking our tails off. And so you're like sore and just like drained and no water. And we went to sleep that night.
All of the above.
Was that before Andrew's encounter?
It was before.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was the next morning he had his encounter.
So each day we had a trial. The first one was the hike up. That was Adam's trial of navigation error. Second day was Connor's trial of
Honey stingers.
honey stingers.
Definitely.
The third trial was the bear.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we and Adam,
The bear.
Andrew's bear.
Adam and
Pretty
me go
intense
out.
story we're about to tell you
Oh,
here.
good lord.
We decided to go
Probably
out
the most
for.
embarrassing thing ever.
This is awesome. We decided to go out for like a quick morning hunt. We had set up. We found a spot to set, hoping that some deer would come or whatever. So Andrew decides to stay in the tent
Because I was whooped.
because absolutely. So we go. Adam and me go sit.
Andrew was still pretty mad at us.
Was that
I
what it
wasn't
was? He was
mad.
probably bitter.
Bro, y'all think I was mad. I was not mad.
He's like, I'm done, guys.
I hate you guys. No.
I wasn't. Alright.
So Adam and me go set, and I don't think we've seen anything that morning.
I don't
Or is
think
that when we
did.
seen the doe?
That might have been when we seen the doe.
I don't remember.
It wasn't.
We seen a
nothing
doe
to-
at one point. No, nothing.
Nothing to talk about.
No.
I remember you guys went and you're like, you guys seen a lake or something. And you were going to fill up with water on that morning excursion.
We
Right.
never did see the lake because I didn't ever see that lake until I went back a couple times after that.
We didn't think we had enough water, I think is what it was, to get to the lake.
Yeah,
Find a lake or something.
Yeah.
yeah, because me and Connor were walking down. We walked like a quarter mile down maybe, and we're like, I don't think we should go any further because it's like
No.
we're walking downhill. We're gonna have to go back uphill. Our water's gone, and
Yeah.
so we sat up there. You can take it.
Yeah,
And
so I don't remember. We weren't there for that long. Probably maybe an hour or two.
Yeah,
And we decided, to get back to camp. And
I
we
really
were,
don't want
I think
this.
we were trying to get to church Sunday night.
yeah.
So, we'd figure out the time or whatever, I'm sure, and we get going back. And then, was that when we heard it go off, or were we setting and then hear it go off?
No, we were walking
we
back.
were on our way back.
It was like,
Well,
what
because-
was it? 8:30 or 9?
Yeah, it was
8
like,
in the morning maybe.
Well, because too, you guys were like, all right, if we're not back by this certain time, you're like, shoot a bullet in the air and then we'll shoot one back, kind of a thing.
I don't think we ever said that.
Yes, yes, you did. I promise.
You can't go trying to play that card.
No,
now.
I
You
did.
have never
I
told
promise.
us that.
I
No,
don't know.
you guys told me because I was
Scared?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Well, at one point.
I'm sure we said that
Something
if we're
about-
not back by this time, then I don't know. We've got something, maybe.
No.
Who knows? We might
There
have
was
said
something
that.
about that.
We could have been
Maybe.
delusional.
I just find
I
it
don't know.
funny that you're bringing this up
That's
on the
true.
podcast for the very first time.
Exactly.
I told you. No, because it was a. Okay.
Okay,
Let's hear your argument.
we have literally talked about this story so many times since 2 years ago when this thing happened.
This is
probably 2
hilarious.
years ago. And now he goes up bringing this excuse about we told him to fire a bullet in the air.
Okay. No, I'm just giving context. That's not why I ended up shooting the bullet. Okay.
The viewers are wondering where this is going.
Okay, you guys go
All right,
ahead.
so we wrap up the morning hunt, and Adam and me we're making the trek back to camp, and we hear a handgun go off
It was just
2
one
or
shot.
3 times.
It was just one.
Just
It was
one shot.
Yeah, it was bang.
Yeah,
I mean, Connor just kind of stopped. We're probably like 200 yards.
yeah,
from
we're a
it.
couple hundred yards from there. I don't think we could see it.
No, we couldn't.
at that point.
Me and Connor like stop and look at each other.
We didn't know if it was like something serious or we didn't know what was
we're
going
like,
on.
Maybe he shot it. Something. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So
You never know.
we kind of start hurrying.
we're like, that's Andrew. He's the only one.
Yeah,
He's in that area right there. So it's got to be him. So
we start hurrying back.
yeah, we're kind of like fast-paced walk, half
Oh,
jog,
brother.
Yeah.
back into camp, and we get into camp.
Well, Adam is better shape than me, and he's ahead of me. So I'm basically seeing this, but I'm not like hearing what's going on. I don't think at this point. So
Do you want to tell your part first?
So
I gotta tell my side at one point.
all I see is Adam's walking up to the tent, and Andrew like looks through the tent, and his eyes are as big as saucers. Go ahead.
So yeah, I'm the first one to roll into
That's how it
camp
went
there.
down.
I'm the first one to roll into camp, and I come into camp. I'm like looking around, looking for Andrew, and it's just like still and quiet. There's like nothing going on, no movement, no nothing. And I'm like, we just heard this shot like a minute ago, maybe, like because we hustled pretty good over there. And I'm like looking, no Andrew. I'm like Drew. And he's like, yeah, and I can hear him he's in the tent.
Oh
I'm like,
my goodness.
was that you that shot? He's like, yeah, that was me. And he was like, there was a bear outside. And I'm like, what? No way, you're kidding. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, you saw it? And he's like, no. And then I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I heard it. It was walking by the tree. So
He decides, tell him what you did, Andrew.
Okay.
Let's
So-
hear his side of it.
Alright, so this was about. Alright, you guys. I woke up. You guys left or whatever. And so I'm laying there just chilling for about like what 2 hours. And I'm like,
Idle mind.
so I have my Glock right next to me just in case something happens or whatever.
Glock in hand.
So anyways, I started blasting.
No.
So I'm laying there at the Glock, whatever. I'm chilling, and I'm kind of like just, oh man, I can't wait till they get back. We can have breakfast or something.
What are we at on time?
You're good. Like 48 minutes.
Okay.
And
We're good.
I'm laying there, and all of a sudden I hear like these heavy steps.
Okay.
Very hefty squirrel.
like, poof.
Let's do
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right.
All right. You're doing good.
And like, I promise,
There's no need to lie on this podcast. Okay?
I'm not lying. This
All
is
right.
100% truth. It's just really embarrassing coming out of my mouth.
Makes for good podcast.
I heard like a scratching up against a tree, and I promise. Okay, so grew up going to the mountains, right? But never done something quite like this. And then we seen the bear the day before, okay? And so then I thought, for goodness sakes, I heard like a bear like huff and puff.
And blow your tit in.
Little pig, let me in.
And
Not
so
by the hair of my
I'm
chin,
like-
chin, chin.
And so I had my Glock with its magazine, and I was like, oh, I got an extended magazine. I'll be good. And
Oh my goodness.
And so I go and I look. I had 4 bullets in it, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm like, okay. I was like,
The truth is coming out.
dude.
Wow.
I was like, okay, I can zip open the tent, but he sounds like he's right there. So if I stick my head out, he's gonna bite my head off.
He's gonna bite my...
And so I'm like, but if I stand up and hurry up and shoot, and I miss or it doesn't kill him, I'm gonna die. So I'm like, all right, which way will I not die? And I was like, I'll just scare it with the gunshot. I only got 4 bullets, and so I cock it, I zip up the thing, and just stick my hand out, and like, it's get my hand back in really fast. And I heard whatever it was. It probably wasn't a bear, right? But whatever it was, I heard it run off. And
Well, that's good.
and yeah, and so anyways, like 10 minutes later, Adam walks up.
What happened after you shot? Like, did you just lay there like shaking in fear?
I
Would you like
there.
Did you have to change your trousers?
Did you pee in your sleeping bag? Or...
I was like, I like sat there for a minute, and I was like just making sure.
He's like praying.
There was praying going on, but so anyways, I was just like, in the moment, I was kind of scared, whatever. And then Adam walks up, and he's like, Drew, and like Connor said, I remember taking off that tent thing, and I was like, there was a bear. And Adam was like, what? Did you kill it? Or did you shoot at it? And I was like, no. Yeah,
that
So,
was amazing.
there's from the source.
Okay.
So from those of you that are watching on the video, I mean, you can just see bang,
straight up in the air.
arm comes out up to the elbow, one shot in the air.
I don't even think it was to the elbow. It's kind of just like the
The
hand.
hand
like, if I
barely
stick it-
squeezes it out.
The bear's gonna bite my hand off.
Oh my goodness.
Imagine being the squirrel by the tree, like looks over and he's like,
What? The squirrel's just like, oh, this little stupid.
This is the biggest nut I've found.
literally, dude. So that one, yeah, that one was funny.
that made our morning.
Oh, we were cracking
You
up.
guys were just destroying me, and I was already mad embarrassed.
Dude.
And then you guys are like, what in the world? And I was like, just don't tell anybody.
Yeah,
please.
right. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, that one. One of the better Drew stories for sure.
Definitely.
Not for me.
You're never gonna live that down.
I can't wait for the Arizona podcast.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
So we wrap up. Did we get some breakfast? I don't remember. We probably did.
Yeah,
I think we ate granola bars or whatever.
Probably
Before
so.
we head
We,
out.
we wrap it up. Realize the best method to get back. We seen deer on the way down. This just
We
popping
did.
into my head.
Yep.
Yeah. So we get on the trail. We found the legit trail, I think, to get down.
Going down in the daylight is a lot easier to see the trail
My
than going up in the dark with
goodness.
headlamps. We'll
It was
just
like
put
a
it that way.
breeze.
Unbelievable. Like, we actually could see the trail.
Yeah.
What in the world? Andrew's
Phone
phone.
call.
Andy's phone. So,
Better not answer that on the podcast.
anyway, you could shoot
I don't-
text.
Yeah,
at
I'm
least.
telling.
So don't
Anyways.
get in trouble.
It's my mommy.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we're on our way down, and then I think Andrew and me strap up the bows.
You should have just said her. Maybe they would have thought it was your girlfriend or something.
Not after that bear story. I ain't getting one of those for a long time.
Okay, so go ahead and strap up the bow.
I think me and Andrew strapped the bows to our backpacks, and Adam's like, die-hard hunter, carries his bow in hand, if I remember right. Andrew and me just whipped. So we get down, and sure enough, we jumped some deer on the way down, but couldn't make anything happen. So
Yeah, it turns out all the deer were kind of hanging out
they were
in the lower
yeah.
country because we weren't truly hunting. We were hunting, but we were on a mission to get back. We were out of water, literally out. I think when we started down, we didn't have any water.
It was bad.
We were wanting to start early because we knew we were,
We had a little bit, I think, in a water bottle. We were
Out.
like
We
sharing.
might have.
and so we started our trek down. Ended up busting some deer, and yeah, I mean,
Well,
we hadn't seen anything, so we were just kind of like hoofing it.
that's
down.
when I had my junky backpack that was, I think it was digging into my shoulders.
I remember that, yeah.
Oh
Because
my
that video we
goodness.
watched just now, you're like, oh, my shoulders are killing me.
Yeah, yeah. So we got back to the truck, and to get that backpack off was a relief, man.
Oh,
and
dude.
thank the Lord, Adam had random water bottles in the cab of his truck.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. And, like, a bag of, like, Cheez-Its, too. And we were just, like, scarfing them down.
We chugged those water bottles. Didn't
Dude.
you have some of that mix one of you guys bought on the way
Liquid
up
IVs?
there? No, it was like one of those Chex Mix things.
That's what it
and
was.
we like
It was
pounded
cheddar?
those things.
Was it
Cheese
cheddar
Chex
chex
Mix.
cheese
It
Chex
was.
mix?
Yeah, something
That's
like
what
that.
Okay.
I'm thinking about.
Oh man, getting to that truck.
Oh my
Our
goodness.
my pack was like probably almost 40 pounds, and so taking that off.
It was
Oh.
like the end of Pilgrim's
Dude.
Progress when he
Oh,
gets
good.
to heaven and just starts
Dude.
floating.
Take into consideration we were all wimps at this time.
Not much has changed, but a little bit has.
There's been some growth.
Our mental is hopefully a little better. Our mental capabilities, but it still felt good with no water, no nothing
Dude.
to take off those big packs and chug some water. That was our saving
dude.
grace.
Amazing.
And now we got cheesy breadsticks in mind.
Yeah, I think Adam was driving, or was I driving?
I don't remember who drove back.
We made it back in the town's probably an hour from the spot.
Yeah, probably so.
We jot down there and order like a stinking large or extra large, well, like a pepperoni pizza, cheesy breadsticks, and devour
man.
that, dude. It was amazing.
It was so good. One of the more satisfying meals I've had after like a day and a half or more of, a little more than a day and a half of no quality food. It was pretty good.
It felt weird too. Like it almost felt like we were gone for like a whole week. Like we got back into town and we're like, civilization, cars.
That lack of water must do something to your head or something.
The lack of water was the biggest struggle.
It was horrible.
It was literally the struggle for us because, yeah, you can't do anything without water.
No, it was a big hindrance for sure.
Like you can't even, you can do stuff, but you sure won't be happy.
No. So yeah, to get that water and get refueled up, it was awesome. But it was a amazing weekend trip. As rough as it was, I wouldn't trade those memories for anything, man.
Not at all. And also too, for me, I don't know about you guys, but like we said, the whole wimp factor. Like I've definitely, like that was like one of the big stepping stones when it comes to like becoming even like a man. I'm not saying I'm a man now, but like that was like huge. Like, hey, dude,
Yeah,
get with the program.
Yeah.
Been a lot of growth since then for all of us.
Yeah,
Definitely.
well, what was that? It was 2 years ago, right?
Check on your
Yeah,
pictures.
I'll check it. So I was probably like 19, maybe.
Yeah, 2 years ago I was like
That means
20.
I was like 17 and a half probably at that time.
It was 2021,
It's
August
almost
27th of 2021. So that means
almost 2 years.
I would have been just turned 20. So, yeah, almost 2 years. So we were still, kind of just branching off, doing things.
Yeah, we've been on quite a few hunts since then, but this is definitely one for the books.
Yeah, so I guess if we kind of wrapped up on that, we could go into lessons learned or what it profited us to do that. Like for me, for one, the hunting wasn't all that great. If there's any California hunters out there, you know what it's like. It's hard to come by
Grind, man.
on the big game hunting, especially since they took away bear hunting with dogs. That's been a challenge. And the mule deer hunting just isn't top notch. With the amount of hunters, it's just insane. You can hardly go anywhere without seeing hunters. And the places you do go without hunters, the deer numbers are so low, and the buck to doe average is just so terrible. You just don't feel like you can go out and have that great of success. If you kill a deer during deer season on public land, you're pretty blessed.
Definitely.
No doubt.
So, but other than that, I mean, it was kind of a stepping stone to lead me into other hunting areas. Nothing we had found on that trip was great, but it branched me off. Kind of started the search in that area, and I ended up finding some spots that I hunted last year and I'm going to be hunting this year. Ended up stumbling onto some bucks. So there's potential. That was kind of the stepping stones to get me into some better hunting areas. And overall, yeah, it was just super fun trip and good memories to to look back on. I had a blast.
I honestly can't wait till we recreate it. Go again.
Definitely. One of the things I like too is coming at it from the point of archery hunting. You know, rifle hunting's awesome. I love to rifle hunt deer. Don't get me wrong, but here in California, when you going archery hunting, it's before the rifle hunters get out there, so there's actually deer out there. Like this spot we were at, there wasn't much of anything there, but to get out there with your bow, and I like to carry a revolver in case you come across a rattlesnake or you come across a mountain lion or a bear, but you never know.
Especially the bears.
Yes, watch out for them bears. So getting into archery hunting really opens up a lot of stuff. We got to go to Arizona. We'll tell those stories on here, I'm sure. But it's definitely, if you guys aren't into archery hunting, it's definitely worth checking out. It's such a blast. Get out, if you're blessed with a little bit of property, just to fling some arrows at evening time, drink some sweet tea, or just hang out with your buddies, shooting your bow, getting out in the woods, enjoying God's creation. It's just awesome opportunity. But one thing too is awesome is to have a good backpack, man. I got a Kuiu backpack, and it's amazing. So hold that thought.
Guest star Clay.
Can you wait like 5 minutes? This podcast is over.
Guest starring Clay. He needs his pajamas.
So let's pretend we can edit that out.
We can cut it out, right?
Yeah, but like having yourself a good backpack is definitely a game changer.
Oh, yeah.
And making sure you got the proper amount of water for your trip.
Planning in general.
Yeah. Definitely.
Proper planning prevents poor performance.
Yeah, we got phones going off, people needing to get their clothes, but what do you guys want to go on some other topics? What you want this podcast to kind of portray, or what we'll be doing in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I like to have this as like kind of a general, kind of just what we got going on in life. It seems like we're always got something going on, hunting trips and life stories. It seems like happens all the time. So, even for our own memory's sake, to get on here and just share, the stories that we've got, whether that's hunting or, work stories. We've got,
Life.
a lot of work stories we could share.
Oh, brother.
But, just all kinds of stuff, Maybe give our takes on, something happens in the news or whatever, just to throw out whatever we can. So, never know what's going to come on this podcast. But definitely do a lot of hunting stories.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to hear?
No, I think it'd be good to do all that. I don't know, maybe get on some spiritual topics here and there. Get some of the other guys on. We could do like camping stories, or other hunting stories. Fun times. We could do like a softball podcast
After the season, postseason
softball podcast with our
Commentary.
coach and
Dustin.
Get Dustin on
Yeah.
Our
here.
team captain?
Travis, Talon, Dustin.
Yeah.
Let Talon release some of his frustrations.
Dude, it's going to be like 2 hours of Talon just being like, and then he did this.
Yeah, so you're catching us. We're recording this, and we're like midway through this, was it
Softball
spring or
season.
summer softball season here in California? We got like a local city league we're in, and a bunch of our guys from the church we come up with a team. So
It's a lot of our first time doing that, so we're all pretty trash.
we just won our first game last week, so.
After 4. Right.
But yeah, you never know what you're gonna hear. So, anything else you guys want to add? Give it the send off.
I think I'm good. I think it went pretty decent for our first one. I mean,
Definitely wasn't as cringy as I thought. It could have been.
yeah, it felt more just like a talk of us just telling a story
Sure.
like it's supposed to. So
Yeah.
I mean, every time we get together and talk, we can. Most of the time, it's at least 3 hours just
We're
for
like
a typical conversation.
A solid little over an hour right now.
Yeah, it's probably time to cut it. But yeah, I don't think anybody got too mic shy, and we'll try and keep it more interesting and more. It was hard to keep in a path. What am I trying to say here?
Like an outline.
Yeah, it's hard to keep within. We're kind of getting the cart ahead of the horse
Getting
sometimes.
off track.
Probably a little scatterbrained with 3 people. You guys are
It's all right.
a little confused, but we'll get better at keeping a storyline
Try to get more
as
of a
we go
plan.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because
So-
we had so many like good things to get to. We had the bear story. We had the honey stingers.
Yep.
There's a lot of
So-
good stuff.
All right, guys. We want to thank you guys for listening so much, and we give God all the glory for it, and it definitely wouldn't be possible without the Lord, and we give Him all the glory and honor for it. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.